All right, I loaded up a game
All
that we
right.
played. I randomly picked it. I don't even know when it's from, but I believe it's recent.
I hope so.
Oh, I just randomly found this. I don't know how to. Oh, 10 of the 8 or 8 of the 10.
Okay, that was a few days ago. I was playing well.
Do you
So
recognize this game?
no, this
With you
seems
being white,
like no.
old?
It's from 2 days ago. I was already playing better. So this seems like a position I get often, and I used to take out the bishop to f4 in my next
You did
move.
actually in this game too. Yes,
Yeah,
you
I
did.
should have. I should have castled. But I mean,
That's
this is
one
not
of the
terrible.
things this is one of the things you can do. That is
Hmm.
true. A very important thing that I want you to know if you want to play this bishop c4 idea, it's really, really cool, is that basically, by the way, against any opening that doesn't contest d4, like Caro-Kann, Peertz, French, modern, bullshit, whatever,
Bullshit.
you always want to go to d4.
Right.
Always and every time. Because if you start with knight f3, they have a chance to revert back to something that denies your d4. So if they give up territory, you take it on the first given opportunity. Now, the
Right.
second thing I want to tell you is that it's best, most accurate, I should rather say, if you do not develop this knight first, but this one. The reason for that is that it allows you a bit greater variety of development patterns. Like it obviously delays kingside castling, but it supports queenside castling a little bit faster, and that is certainly something. Last but not least, I would like you to know that there is a variation here that is almost identical to what you did. Bishop c4, but after knight f3, yeah, 6, excuse me, instead of playing knight f3, which would literally go back to your game, right? Move for move, except different orders.
Uh-huh.
You with me? You have here queen to e2 first. Now,
Uh,
what do you think white is aiming to play after queen e2?
e5, I reckon.
Exactly. So why do we need queen e2 to play e5?
So after d takes and d takes, you are not forced to trade the ladies, and
Exactly. You and I, we are both very big fans of the ladies. In fact, all of them shout out to you in the chat now, ladies. We like you a lot more than the dudes.
all
So
right,
we
ladies.
want to keep the ladies on. So the problem with knight f3, well, it's not a problem, but it doesn't put e5 on the map.
Right.
Well, not in the way that would allow you to take back with a pawn, right? But as soon as we give the respect that those ladies deserve, we are actually going to be able to play e5 next. Now, what's really cool, and now the ladies need to turn away for a second because this is going to be very gruesome, is that after knight c6, which seemingly soils the party because d4 is hanging, so we don't have time for e5, it actually transpires that we do have time for e5. And there is this absolutely wild ass variation here with take, and you will not believe what we're going to do next.
Capture the
And
donkey.
this is where the ladies need to close their eyes because we are
Okay.
now going to sacrifice them for the greater good. You take the donkey, you
Oh no, my
take
queen. Uh-huh.
you take also the clergy, and then you take the donkey. And now we have got 3 minors for the queen, and a very, very sexy looking attacking position.
Okay.
There have been a lot of games for this. If you want to, I can show you one. Just
Okay.
to give you a bit of a vibe for how they go. But in the Grandmaster database, white is outscoring black insanely in this. So here is an example. Just bear with me.
Yeah.
Um,
I think my opponent will be feeling very confident
oh, dude,
in
they
this
have no
position.
reason to be confident here. They should be scared. And
They'll
I'll
be
show you
like,
why.
I'm not the
So check this
lady.
out. Take, 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 take.
They're really
Here.
not.
Wait, are you making moves or did I just get too excited?
No, that's you. My hands are up here.
Okay, this is weird. I wanted to stop. Stop! What the freak? Stop! Okay, sorry, I have to refresh this. Something died.
Okay.
I don't know if refreshing is gonna kick you out. No, you're in. Okay. Okay, be good. So watch this. Take, and castles. This is about the time, by the way, when their confidence is going to start fading. Because it looks so cool that they have the queen. But playing with 3 minors against a queen is always easier because you can find targets, usually pawns, right? Because you have got 3 pieces that you can chip away at things with. They have one big bulky unit, right? And then one big bulky unit can do damage without the support of the little units, and they don't have little units. So try to imagine how you would play this for black. Like,
Lord
where are you
Fugirev
even
just
going?
followed.
Right.
So it's very, very difficult to come up with a constructive plan. This is how it went. They played c6, which in my opinion is the most logical plan, putting b5 on the map and putting queen a5 ideas on the map. This is key. The reason why this is key is because once you move the knight, the pawns become pinned. So for example, after just random shit I'm showing you here, now this is already hanging.
Right.
This is where the many little units are proving to be a lot more powerful than the one big one. So bishop e6 was played, which is already a very bad, well, not very bad, but questionable decision, obviously trying to obstruct the e5. But now the problems are rearing their ugly heads that the e5 pawn is hanging. And now we are going actually from one very unique pawn structure to another, or rather material imbalance, excuse me. Because they took e5.
Oh, of course.
So now we are going into 3 minor pieces versus rocks. Total crazy city. But again, because of these are isolated and you have one more piece to attack than they have to defend, you're going to be golden. And see, here black is giving back the exchange. We're going into like crazy wide territory now. And I'm near certain white is not going to take it. Because that would straighten the pawns and put these in a bit of a pickle. Yeah. So he's not taking the rock. He's just casually building up and he's going to hunt down the e5 pawn. And as such, these two cannot get out. So the reason why taking here is a great mistake is because now the pawns are straight, the knight gets kicked, and the king escapes shortly after the rook does too. In fact, I'm threatening to play g5, rook g6, and trap. The very fluid and awesome cooperation between the white minor pieces is gone. Material is level. We have 2 minors for rook pawn. But we no longer have that oomph. If you don't take the rook, they can't do shit with their rook and their king, and they can't get around these two. So paradoxically, you are better off not touching the rooks because they're completely immobile. They can't do anything. It's really cool to observe how this plays out. And white just goes on like, yeah, no, I'm good. I just want to take your pawns and not worry about life at all. Like you can see, black is just toing and froing with the rook. They have nothing to do. Note that the king can never come out here because then you check out this guy. So there is always some difficulty with releasing the pieces. Now I'm going to just zip through the game quickly because it's irrelevant, but you get the gist. There were actually a fair few mistakes along the way. And then they bounded the rook. Okay, that was dog shit. But yeah, that was a very, very fun battle. So that's something you can do. Now I want to go back to the game. Okay. Bishop f4 is definitely ill-advised here because, well, I wouldn't say ill-advised, but castles is more standard. Castles is more standard. Bishop f4 played. Bishop g4 played. Yeah, kick, good. And here they should have played knight c6. And that's why bishop on f4 is usually misplaced, because you usually want it on e3 to help you cover this.
Right.
Right? Because now very often you are going to face e5 problems. Best is probably castles, which fittingly creates a bit of a discovery, so e5 is not playable now, which is very good news for us. Because then we take, yeah, and then it's pinned. So we win a piece. So overall, it's still pretty clean by you. I'm quite happy. That's very good. I'm very proud of you for castling here and not here.
Right.
High T chess, and now e5, e6 just wins the game.
Yeah, I think I eventually played that. Yes.
So this is where you drop the ball because you didn't play e6, which you really should have.
And then I just wanted to keep the piece in that diagonal. Somehow.
Yeah, but in a way that's lazy because e6 wins the piece.
Duh! Come on.
Like,
of course it
hello,
does.
pin, takes, check, and then you win this.
You win the
So
donkey.
yes, I hear you that you want to keep your position pretty, but when you can win a piece by force, I don't care about bishop pair anymore.
Of course.
So that was not so great. Now e6 is winning the house again.
I didn't see e6 until I eventually played it, I reckon. Dang it.
Okay, so now there is a kindergarten level tactic that I want you to find. I don't know if you played it or not, but I will cry if you didn't.
I didn't. I saw it later. You should capture that donkey.
Yeah, of course you should, man. Come on, like it's mate. Like, dude, when this is on the board, you can't possibly not go like, oh man, imagine if this was mate, and then you start thinking about how you can make it mate, as opposed to let's win a donkey or a queen. Enough, F that. You want the greatest check mate of your life, because your grandchildren will tell stories about the mate like this, man.
Yeah, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, but that's in your control, brother.
Right. I mean, I still got the lady.
Yeah, dude, it was literally Salma Hayek knocking on your door, going like, "Hey, I'm free tonight. Can I come in?" And you go like, "Yeah, nah, sorry, I have got chess to play tonight." Right. It's like, no, you don't do that. No, you do not. Does she have, by the way, Mexican background?
What?
Salma Hayek. Does she have Mexican background?
Salma Hayek? Salma Hayek? Yeah. Oh yes, she's from Mexican born. She's Veracruz.
Yeah, see, like, so I'm bringing up the best example.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. So when she comes by to your house and knocks on the door and goes like, "Hey, how about dinner and Netflix and chill?" You don't go like, "Let's leave the chill out. I can, you can cook for me." Like, nah, that's not happening. you go all the way, brother. Like Salma is an 11 out of 10.
Right.
We are chilling. Boba approves, by the way, of my theory about Salma Hayek. So just saying.
Of course she does.
When ladies approve of my dirty ideas, then you know that my ideas are correct. That was good though, man. Like, this is how we play chess with white. And on that note, I want to rather see some black ones. Because usually people tend to struggle on the black side of business more. But this is a dub. So let me see how you don't struggle. Very good. Yes, Boba, my analogies and analogies are always on point. Okay, so knight c6 is definitely wild. So, Mr. Pancakes, what is our opening against d4 with black?
d5, of course.
And what do we do against c4?
I do e6, of course.
Okay, so the reason why knight c6 is not an option for you against knight f3, because after d4, d5, and c4, when you play e6, you have got this donkey on the worst possible square for a queen's gambit declined, which requires you to have this donkey here and this one here, so that you can complete the pawn chain with c6, correct? So I am assuming, but you can correct me if I'm mistaken, that you are playing something like this. Is this correct?
I usually play Tarrasch too. So
Tarrasch.
Yeah.
Wait. Sorry. No. So you play c5.
C5,
Yeah, sorry, I forgot. You are my Tarrasch man. So imagine how your Tarrasch self is feeling when you put this knight in front of the c pawn.
I guess I didn't imagine if d4 after that, after knight f3.
What? A lot of people, I do it all the time as a move order trick. Absolutely, you do. And if you are a Tarrasch player, you can play all three moves. You can play knight f6, you can play d5, or you can play c5. I would say d5, by the way, any day of the week. And if d4, you play knight f6, and then your Tarrasch is good to go. Yeah, if they go here, and then c5 next.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you need to be very careful with even same goes for c4. You can just go e6, d5, c5, and go back to Tarrasch.
Of course.
So don't just assume that if they don't play d4 or move 1, that it's not going to be a d4 opening. It's very, very often the case. I mean, they played b3, which is absolute dog pool, but that's a different story.
What?
That was a mouse slip, right?
I just didn't want any knight on g5. I guess that's what I was thinking.
No. When I said this was a mouse slip, right? You went, yes, it was. I was meaning to play d5.
Ah, yeah, sure.
Good. Yeah, like this is, dude, come on. No one plays h6. That's not discussable. That's not a chess move. No one does that. d5, bishop out, e5. That's what chess players do. Okay, so okay. So you appear to be a little bit worried about this, and
Yes.
I don't exactly know how justified that is. I would have considered the bishop g4, and then after h3 trade into this and then play e6 and develop and castle quick. But what you did is also playable. Also, if you are worried about this, by the way, you should consider a6 and obtain the bishop pair. Unlike that, this makes sense because we are kicking the bishop in the face.
Right.
All right. Okay, so these two together, they make no sense. It's one. Well, they do, but then I would rather already go and ask the bishop about their lives. Yeah, e6 good. Bishop this is very good. Yeah, e5, please. No, e5, please.
e5.
When you have two moves to pick from that look equally good, and one of them is castles, it's almost never castles that you want to do. The reason for that is that castles usually is something your opponent can't stop. Your other move that you really want to play is more likely stoppable. So if I want to here play castle and e5, I'm playing e5 every day of the week because there is literal nothing white can do to stop me from castling next. If you play castles, they can play d4 and you will never play e5 in your life. Not saying that that's a good move. Also, it allows them to take, which e5 would have ruled out.
Of course.
So the priority is always the move that has a greater impact on the position versus the one that has none.
Of course.
And also the move, that they cannot, rather the move that, so don't prioritize the move that they can't stop is what I'm trying to say, but English
is hard.
Of course.
Yeah, and I eventually was able to play e5, but I guess I was just lucky.
Right? Yeah, c5 here is very strange. You should go e5.
e5. And this guy was playing like he was playing bullet. So yeah, eventually did that. This happened today, actually.
Okay, so this is a very interesting decision, and I'm sitting on the fence about d4 because d4 changes the structure drastically. So a lot of people think that this is a great move because it shuts this bishop in.
Right.
But that's actually not quite true. What it really does, as far as the bishops are concerned, is that it kills your own bishop. Your bishop is more dead than this one is. Right. This is a fat pawn. It has no function. It can do nothing. This bishop can attack one of your pawns. Out of the two bishops, the white one here has infinitely more prospects of becoming a useful piece than yours. Another way is for white is to read out the knight to here, which is a very valid plan. Yeah, there. Now we are already threatening to kill you with knight here, and the bishop is going to be a very useful attacker on this diagonal. Meanwhile, again, your bishop has no scope, no hope. Farhad, I should coin the term. No scope, no hope. Brilliant.
Yeah, looks great.
Right? So this is why I was already a little bit reluctant to go with this, because we are putting too many pawns on black, which is the color of your bishop.
Uh-huh.
Right? So here, I would have preferred c6 to maintain the flexibility of the pawns and preferably in the long run play for e4 push, not d4. Which is a little bit, again, double-edged because e4 also opens this one up.
Right.
So for the time being, the best policy is perhaps to keep it flexible and just go from there. But d4 is always double-edged. And also we are surrendering the e4 square a little bit. Yeah,
Fortunately, that
okay.
happened.
Yeah, now at least your bishop has a meaningful diagonal to work with. Yeah, goody.
I wanted to double the rooks.
Sure. No, I approve. I was just looking very quickly at this tactical idea of take, but it doesn't work yet.
I did see that too.
Having said that, if you want to double the rooks, I think it would be a lot wiser to not go here but here, because then if they take you, then you have an attack here, which is going to keep them busy while you are bringing the other fatty to the main line, the open line, yeah?
Right.
So rook e7 is a passive way of doing the same.
And then that happened.
What?
Yeah.
Hello?
I don't know. Bro was playing bullet. So I was like, okay. I was very worried.
We will take the dubs. We'll take the dubs.
Yeah.
We will take the dubs, my friend. Okay, let me just very quickly go through this without you first. What the fridge? 1,400 players play chess like this? That's criminal. Okay, let's have a look at it. Here we go. All right. F6. That had to be a mouse slip, for goodness sake. That was knight F6. 100%. Tuck. Queen e7, knight c3, queen c5. What does your opponent want to do, Panky?
He wants to trade the.
He wants to trade. He wants to trade your Salma Hayek for. Well, I want to remain within the boundaries of respectful, so I will not say to what she wants to trade Salma Hayek for. But you already know the answer, right? When you have Salma Hayek, it ain't gonna be traded, or rather, she.
I guess.
Yeah. So the first thing that we know is not gonna happen is queen trade. I mean, Salma is a keeper, man. Like, surely, right? Surely. Salma is a keeper, right?
Exactly, and then their bishop comes out, and I would be more awkward. So
yeah. So look, this one is Salma. This is the very grumpy headmistress of the primary school where you always ended up in detention, even though you didn't do anything wrong. And now you go like, that looks like a fair trade. Let's get rid of it, both of them. We don't want Salma. We don't want the headmistress either.
Yeah, it's but like, then I thought either my bishop or my donkey would be in a good spot. So that's what I didn't think it was terrible.
But the problem here is, friend, is that those attacking prospects don't even come anywhere near close to the attacking prospects with queens on. When f6 was played, you already knew that this game is going to be an absolute attacking slaughterfest. All of those words, attacking, slaughterfest, exclude queen trades. That's not doable.
Right.
It's like me rocking up to you tonight going like, Panky, we are going to have a Mexican food night tonight. And you go, and I go like, but we're not using spices. Like, you would slap me in the face. And I would have no right to say anything untoward about you slapping in the face, because that's the right response. If we are cooking Mexican and we're not using spices, then get out of here, man. Like, what am I? Someone who is drinking almond milk coffee? Like, come on, man. Seriously. Same with queens. Like, f6, no, queens are on. And now bishop e3 is a tempo. Then you castle here, and it's mate in 5 more moves. No questions. Right? The queen trade is queen trade is criminal activity here, because this knight is great, and after I go here, you can't kill me. If you have queens on, with king on d8, I will be killed.
Right.
Right? So yes, it's good for you, but it's nowhere near as good as
As it was.
Sama would have been. Also, why are we casting kingside, brother? Why not here? You know the drill. Ahead in development, castle queenside, because that brings the rook to the d file. Also, since this is an end game, you might opt to not to castle at all, but just keep your king in the center, where it's likely standing well. But like bishop f4 seems to make sense to me. And then after trade, you can return to d5 to pester the pawn again, and definitely castle queenside. Always, when you can, you should. Yeah. Going backwards, man.
Ah, dang it! I forgot.
That's not legal. Instead, development. Do you actually have people in your chat called like Big Valentina? That's a lady, man.
She's a
Dude,
lady, but
he's a lady. Now I'm confused. You mean she?
she's a lady. Yes, Big Valentina.
She is a lady. Okay, I'm confused. Dude, I have to stream for like 5 years to have 5 ladies in the house. You have got 10 right now. Unreal. Unreal.
And that,
Okay, wait a second. I need to go back here. Yeah, I approve of your play here. I like it. Yeah, good. Good. Now comes the dreaded endgame technique. Oh, Rengao in the house. And Smurfett. Oh, la. Dude, my dude is a freaking chick magnet and then some.
Okay. Then I review that, and I was supposed to bring the rook to the B file instead of
I
the
was
C.
about to say to you, this brother, that once you have one piggy on the 7th, you want to have 2. And I don't care how much it costs in terms of pawns, because those 2 rooks are going to slaughter absolutely everything. As I like to say it, rook c1 is criminal activity. That should be reported to the police. And yeah, Salma is going to do something dirty to you. She's going to put you in handcuffs, and yeah, she's going to spank you for this. Not sure if I would take that as a punishment, but it should be for rook c1. It was a mass slip. It's b1, and then off we go.
Right. And I was just too focused into defending the freaking c pawn.
Yeah, like double penetration. Oh, okay. So bringing the rooks to the 7th is deadly, is what I'm saying. I really didn't mean that. I honestly, that was the accidental one, and that was the best one. So rooks on the 7th, absolute deadly power, man.
Right.
Absolute deadly power. Nimzovich already wrote about rooks on the 7th, death.
Mm-hmm.
Death. It is just carnage. And like, honestly, man, if I removed this pawn, you should still be doing this. Because it's not about the pawns.
Exactly.
It's about the fact that the king gets absolutely gutted. Okay, so rook c1 bad, bishop b6. Now here, your bishop is hanging, and if you take it, when they retake, you are activating their rook.
Mm-hmm.
That means you are doing what they want. What should you do instead? Remember, Pancakes, this is an endgame, so every single piece, including the king, should be part of the action.
Now that's a good hint. Play king f2.
Bingo. No brainer, man. Like this is your default move. This is what you want to play. It's not like I have to. No. This is what you want to play.
Of course.
That right? Bringing the boss.
Yeah, you remember that one. I think I lost.
Okay, this here makes now very little sense because it does nothing. Like, you're not activating your king. In fact, you just walked into the, I'm not calling it, the rook coming into the second rook. Not a move at all. In fact, it was your turn again to try to get your rook in. And this would have been a beautiful opportunity, by the way, to sell a tiny little cheapie. Hello?
Good.
That's a checkmate, in case you were wondering.
Yeah.
So, and if they do not take c4, you're going in like your life depended on it, because it does. King
Yeah.
f1 here was one of the worst things you could do, because it doesn't help you at all, and it helps black immensely. Oh god. Okay. I'm guessing this is fine. c5 was also playable, by the way.
Just pushing.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have preferred this guy. So generally speaking, when you have two pass pawns, you want to push the one that is further away from the enemy king, because this doesn't create realistic threats, because it's blockadable, and then the king is one step away from attacking it. Like, this currently does not represent a threat of any sort. By the way, I really don't mean to hurt your feelings, but playing this followed by this somehow shows that you had no idea what your actual plan was and which way you wanted to go.
Yeah, that was true.
So I very much recommend that when you enter a end game, to just try to take some time to calm the nerves and reset your brain into end game mode, because it's a drastic change from middle games. And you have got very different plans and ideas, and even the way you think is more generic rather than concrete.
Right.
Yeah, like this is just complete hope chess. Like they just go king f7 and you're going to lose your pawn. Yeah. Now, this is not losable though. And yet somehow
It was not. It was a draw.
Okay, so this move here, this is really, 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 really bad. Can you explain to me why?
Because they can push a pawn, like, and then they can push h5, doing, 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 and then I'm not
It
certain
has
how.
not. It has nothing to do with what black can do. It only has things to do with what you can and can't do.
What I can do.
Rather, what you can't anymore.
Of course. Now I reckon I could play king h2 at some point and get out.
But now you can't anymore. So this
And
is
now
the
I can't.
phenomenon that we call in rook endings is the king being cut off.
Right.
Now you are extremely limited in defensive sources against the invasion. Look at the wording there. I'm not using the dreaded P word anymore. The invasion of the black king, which is mate threat, hanging pawn. Like in a dead even setting, all of a sudden you are fighting for life. Instead, king h2 was recommendable, but also you could have cut the enemy king off on the 5th, and now it's never going to cross the 5th rank, ever.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing that can go wrong anymore for you. The irony is that a position like this is only losable by either side if they cock up like royally. Like, if I am Magnus Carlsen and you don't mess this up, I can never beat you from here. You have to contribute to my efforts in order to make it losable for either side. If you don't do something utterly stupid, it's impossible to lose. And it sounds very offensive to hear that, but it is the truth. Like, you really have to go out of your way with either color to actually lose this against perfect play, that is. And unfortunately, this is a prime example of how you can go out of your way and hurt yourself in a way that your opponent could never do to you.
Right.
Now, this is perfect. You're now gluing the king to the pawn, and you're still firmly holding the draw. Now, that is the second step in trying to hurt yourself royally, because as long as you just keep on passing on the 6th rank, black can't make progress. The only trick they do here, which you should do too, by the way, if you are the black player here, is to give up the pawn and then not take this, but to slide in here.
Right.
Because now there is a chance you can sell the mate. And likely, if they go here, now you ran out of tricks and you will take, they take, you take, and it's a draw.
Yep. That would be nice.
Right? Right? That's it. But check now forces black to come forward to eat your pawns without you being able to eat theirs. Now we are very seriously risking defeat. Now the only way for you to stay alive is to pull the rook back here, protecting the pawn, and also denying the invasion. Once again, cautiously avoiding the P word. Played,
Right.
and again, unlosable as long as you're passing on the third. Nothing black can do that would change the outcome.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
happened.
now you lost the pawn. So in the same game, you played 3 moves that were 10 out of 10. Let's try to allow black to win. Without which, if you just didn't do those, there's no way you would have lost.
Right.
Not a chance. So we did our absolute best to support black here, unfortunately. I really want you to reflect on these, because at multiple points you should have been able to hold this. Like here, you hold the rook on the 6, the king can't move. Actually, sorry, let's start here. So you cut the king off, that's it, game over. They can't penetrate. Then you go here, you glue the king to the g6 pawn, you pass the king here, or you just pass on the 6th rank, draw. Then they come down here, you put this here, you pass on the 3rd rank, again, they can't do anything.
Yeah. It was a draw most of the time of that endgame, unless
Yes,
actually
most of
until
the
King
time.
F1. King F1
Yeah,
was the final mistake.
until it wasn't. Yeah.
Until it wasn't, yeah. Precisely.
Until it wasn't. Yes, tough going there. Tough going there. Okay, interesting game though, because obviously these are the best examples to learn from, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Oh my god, chat.
What is chat telling you? Are they bullying you?
They're talking about don't let your opponent penetrate you.
Yeah, they are going crazy with the dirty talk. I know these people. They're terrible.
They're third graders, all of them.
Third graders, you say?
Yeah.
That's harsh, man. All right, I'm going to single out some defeats, buddy, because I love your victories, but we are learning from the losses a lot more, and we have got limited time today.
Certainly.
So we need to patch the holes. I wonder where the chat is gonna take that expression.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is solid. Very good. Very good play by the house Panky. Yeah, good. Good. Also good. Also good. Oh, whoa. Why are we donating this pawn?
I mean, I could have played e5.
Not could have, should have.
I should have. Okay.
Yeah, either that or queen b6.
Queen b6, eh? Yeah. Dang it.
Yeah, when you go into d4, man, it's a fat pawn. It's a fat central pawn. You do not want to donate it away for absolutely nothing. That's not happening.
Dang it.
Yeah, and now you're provoking e5. So what you want here, Panky, is the opening of the center. That is what you want. The problem with your move that you are playing is that whilst it intends to open up the center, it's not in your control whether it's going to happen or not. And in fact, your opponent has a move that is going to accomplish the exact opposite of what you wanted. And now your bishop has been shot on by your own pawn, which can't move for the rest of the game. So therefore, this, as much as you would like ED to happen, d5 is a bad move, period. Because yes, there is a scenario where it's bloody good, but there's also a scenario where it's horrid and the choice is not yours, but your opponent's. And so, no, we can't do that. It sucks, but yeah, d5 shouldn't have been played. Again, just developing moves, rook c8, queen b6, just suck it up that you lost the pawn and play chess. But this, unfortunately, further escalates the situation. Now, because of your opponent was a genius, they opted to take your pawn, handing you substantial amount of initiative. Now, which piece do you think we should take it back with?
I captured with the bish. so I can threaten g2 and then the other bishop. And then when I capture, I will threaten both the knight and the bishop on g5.
That is correct, but can they play a move then that defends both of them? In fact, when you take, you are attacking 3 units.
I
And that looks super sexy, but that's the looks. That's that. So a big borderline, or rather, I should say, threshold between players and better players is that a player, and I'm avoiding here to use the word bad, would stop calculating here, going like, all 3 is attacked, yay. A better player would go like, I see all 3 being attacked, so let me see what they can do to defend them. And that better player would find knight f3 in about 2 more seconds, finding out that in fact that move defends all 3.
mm-hmm.
So
Right.
player A is entering this variation thinking that they are winning a piece. Player B is not even sure if he wants to take with the bishop because they can see that they are winning absolutely nothing.
Right.
Absolute nothing. And I really want you to be that player B who goes beyond everything is hanging. Yeah, I know. I can see it too because we have eyes. That's not what chess players do. Chess players go beyond that and question how good that actually is. And because of that, I would much prefer knight takes in this case, trade this, because now, and this again takes a better player to notice, there is no imminent threat. But if they castle here, there is a lot of latent potential in your piece formation to attack the king. Because what is apparent is that this bishop has no meaningful role on this diagonal. Trade here, that's it. But this is too solid a formation for this bishop to be useful. Whereas your bishop is slicing and dicing all the way to the delicious g2 pawn. So if they castle into it, you can seriously start hurting black white here, man. Like that combo there is an ass to deal with.
Of course.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So as such, I think I would have preferred knight over bishop. Okay, now your opponent botched it because now knight f3 is still gonna jettison the pawn and castling rights after the check. So now we're completely winning. Very good. Very good. Okay. Love the position. I want to offer you here a very, very cool and very basic winning plan.
Uh-huh.
Whenever you have a bishop that is controlling the long diagonal and they don't have a counterpart of that bishop, and there are pawns already vanishing in the area, you always consider the possibility of this pawn running all the way in because it's really, really difficult to stop. So how can we create a pass pawn with these 2 against this one?
Well, just a5 and then before.
Yeah, and then we have no pass pawn.
Dang it. Um,
I would like to gently remind you that this is very similar to your d5 move. That if they do what we want, it's good. But if they do what they want, it's really bad.
of course.
You tend to have Pancakes' thinking pattern of you see a move that can work out in your favor in one way, and that scenario turns the idea in your head into the best option. Whereas the reality is that just because there is one good outcome, that doesn't make your move good. It just demonstrates that there is a possible scenario where it may work out, but we are not interested in that. We're interested in the worst case scenario, because if the worst case scenario is still good for you, that's what makes the move good. This case, the worst case scenario is really shit for you, therefore the move itself is really bad.
Mm-hmm.
So how can we prevent a4?
Um, well, Well, do you push the other pawn first?
Exactly. You push a4 because they can't
Then
stop
boink,
b4.
boink. Oh, then of course,
And
yeah.
now, while I am running away to tuck my king away, your pawn has achieved a touchdown, or very close to it anyway.
Right.
Very sexy idea. Now, I don't know if I would do it. I just wanted to highlight to you that with bishop covering the promotion square, side pawns are a total ass. Yeah, I like what you're doing here. It's good looking chess. Oh, sexy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sexy and I know it. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, it makes no sense to me to open this if you can open this. Because that allows your king to be closer to the middle rather than far away from it. Yeah, since white doesn't have a dark squared bishop that could cut you off here, 100% every day of the week it should be g6 and not h6. Not to mention the fact that by playing h6, once again, you're putting pawns on your bishop's color, which is suboptimal. You would want to do the opposite color. Yeah, good. Trade? No. Why did you come here, buddy?
Well, I was not sure if I wanted to, take the initiative and capture that rook.
Well, but hang on, brother. If you weren't sure whether you wanted to take it or not, then you shouldn't have played here in the first place. Like, what you're telling me then is that you didn't know why you played here. So, or we are playing the ultimate Panky style, which is that, well, if they take, that's good for us. And if not, then I don't know what. Then don't do it, man. Like,
Right.
have this habit, Panky, of don't ever count on best case scenario. Always count with worst. Because if worst case scenario is still good for you, that's a freaking awesome move. You constantly keep on playing moves, hoping for your best case scenario. Not gonna happen.
Right.
Not gonna happen. By the way, the move is good. But the purpose of this is to trade and then trade again. Your upper pawn, and more importantly, your opponent's side pawn here is on the color of your bishop, making it a very easy target. Now, instead of this, we did yet another criminal activity. You played this. This is one of the worst moves as far as pawn moves are concerned available on the board right now. The reason for that is because you are putting yet another pawn on the color of the bishop, which you shouldn't be doing, and consequently, you are creating light squared holes all over the shop. And because of you have got a dark squared bishop, you can't control these squares. So now this king is having a field day running all the way in, and potentially if a knight pops on f5, you can't kick it. Your optimal pawn formation on the king side would be here and here, because what this accomplishes is that it creates dark squared holes, which your bishop is controlling, therefore they are not holes.
Of course.
You are doing the opposite. You are putting your pawns on black, which restricts your bishop, and you're creating holes that you can't control at all. Now that's good. That fixes part of the problems. Yeah, so this is where you want your pawns. That should have gone back here so that we are touching this guy. Also, by now you are aware of the fact that check followed by back to e7 is going to overattack f7.
Of course.
You are not counting here on your opponent's plan, my friend, and you are going to get burned for that. Bishop c5 prevents the invasion of the rook. By the way, you really should have traded this 7 years ago. Like, this was a strategic and tactical blunder. Like, you are winning f2 with check. And even if you didn't, you should have traded because you want trade, because you are up a pawn. And the most winnable endgame scenario. So when you have got an endgame Panky like this is what you want to ask yourself. which kind of trade is the one that makes it more winnable than what it is now? And the most obvious answer is that if you trade everything, like if these are all gone, it's completely brain dead victory. Right? That's your best case scenario. Not gonna happen unless your opponent is a prized idiot. What is the second best scenario? That is if we trade all 4 rooks. Because then you are up bishop against knight with pawns on both wings and an already fixed target on the color of your bishop. Brain dead win. And that is doable. Because all you need to do is take here, and they can't reject the trade, because if they do, they lose another pawn. This is why I'm telling you that as soon as you are in end games, the way how you think changes drastically. This type of thinking is useless in middle game scenarios because concrete lines almost always mess with generic overarching storytelling plans. But in end games, you get to do the storytelling of, oh, I wish I could trade both rooks. But guess what? You can. You can. You just take one right now and you offer a trade and they can't reject it. Done.
Right.
And you always need to be mindful of this. And so here it's tactically and strategically winning because now you are also winning f2. In fact, if they take with the knight, then you win the knight too. They have to take with the king and then come in here. But again, it's just shredding material left and right and center. So yeah, we are blind here to pretty much all the finer details. And so is your opponent who could have he come in for a check and then go after f7. Yeah, now f2 is game over, yeah? Panky. What you doing, brother? Mate. Check here, mate, next.
Dang it.
Ay, ay, ay. Ay, 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 ay.
Yeah, I was worried about the pawn, so I put it safe.
No, man, there is no I'm worried about. This is just very poor board awareness. Always look at all 64 squares. I wanted to say 69 squares. Something is really wrong with me today.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, now we are allowing this, which is very painful. Yeah, and finally they are doing it.
And it happened. Eventually, I think I got... Oh, no. I got out of that problem, but I blundered at the end on time pressure.
Now you realize that if in this position your pawn was an a4 with you to move, you would have a super sexy win here. Can you find it?
Trade everything and let the pawn run?
Yeah. Take, fire out my arrows. Take, king takes a3 and the pawn is unstoppable, yeah.
Correct.
So here you could have tried. You actually could have tried. Because now this is a game-winning threat. So likely they would have to bail out with perpetual check.
Right.
Oh Lord. And now it's mate in 2. What?
Is it?
Panky?
Oh, it is. What do you do?
How did they made? Bro, you can't miss shit like this tomorrow or tonight. No pressure, but you can't walk past a mate like this. Even if it's not mate, you're winning a piece by force, right? Like that's inexcusable on your level.
Right.
Okay, we did manage to score the dab hopefully in the end.
Yeah, that's the part of what I would like to stop the movie right there and be like, and that's how it ended. I should have. Yeah,
there would have been players who went check and take h5 here.
Exactly, that was the move. That was the move. It was like mating 2, really. It was just queen 2.
Yeah.
Boing, boing.
Oh, yeah, it's check, and mate, yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, right. Okay, uno más.
Yeah, let's do one more. Why not? That's how you learn.
Uno más. I've looked at this already. Okay, wait a second. Panky lost this. No, I've looked at this, right? Yeah, I have. I've looked at this too. Give me a second because I don't understand how anything works in this world, apparently.
Right.
I'm very good at inviting Salma Hayek, and that's about it.
Okay, I'm gonna go get some water, okay? You do the thing.
Oh, please, 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 please. My good friend Davido has abandoned me. Definitely Salma knocking.
Right.
You're back already.
Yes.
You're a good man. You're a good man, Panky. All right, let's throw this extra love into this. All right, this is not an acceptable move, Panky. You either need to play here knight f6 or d5, but you must challenge the pawn on e4 because any move that allows your opponent to play d4 next means that we failed our most important opening principle, which is the control of the center. So there is a line with d5 takes d4 and then knight f6, and that's totally fine. And there's also a line where we play knight f6, e5, knight d5. And then after this we take, and then we start chipping away at the center. This is also fine. But nothing else is. This is the reason, by the way, why I have the Alapin in my white club player course, because 9 players out of 10 on club level don't play one of these two, and they immediately end up on the back foot, like you did. Fuck me. So this is unacceptable. It's a stupid move, and we don't ever play that. And I take back that I call it stupid, but don't do that. Like here, h6 makes no sense whatsoever. The general rule, Panky, that we want to stick with is that if your opening move is not developing and also isn't controlling center, by default, it's then a mistake. So is it developing? No. Is it controlling the middle of the board? No. Is it therefore bad? Yes. End of story. And you can tell me that you're worried about the spin, and I will tell you good luck. But why? Like, who cares? Yeah. And you can play e6 too, by the way. And this pin is perfectly irrelevant. You kick it, they go all the way, and then you break it.
Oh, of course.
That's it. h6 is not a chess move. Okay. So now we are going to set up for d5, hopefully. Very good. Very good. I don't mind that. Bishop e6 seems to me to be the most natural to complete development. But yeah, knight f4 is... also f5 is quite ambitious, and I quite like it. Let's go aggro. And then bishop e6, queen d7, finishing development. Yep, okay. There is a very aggressive idea here, Davidito. f4, g4, g5, and go full Burko.
Wow,
It's very wild.
Don't like
it's
moving
very
those
wild,
pawns.
but oh no, there is no such thing. Yes, you do, because they are getting frightened about the attack. Okay, so bishop 5, knight back, c4. Isn't that hanging, brother?
Oh yeah, by the donkey, of course. And exactly that's what happened. It was.
No wonder.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was not fine. Ay. Okay, my good friend, what's the purpose of this move? This is a habit that you must have at all times. Your opponent plays a move, you go like, WTF is that doing to me? That is attacking your pawn here.
Right.
Now, you might have thought to yourself, screw it, I'm going to sack it, but I am afraid it was a blunder.
Yeah.
That was g5, my friend, every day of the week. G5. And contrary to popular belief, this is not weakening your king at all. Because what the heck is going to attack it? If anything, once again, in some lines, you might be able to create some kingside attack yourself, but you are not exposing yourself to anything here.
Right.
Because, yeah, the white pieces cannot infiltrate this barrier created by the pawns and the bishops. Third blunder. Yeah, again, remember what I told you about bishops and pawns in the same color? So now, again, you are creating those big, fat white holes that white will be able to utilize. King h7 would have been a more compact defense when none of these squares are available to any of the white pieces.
Right.
Decent. Decent. Very good. Yeah. Be mindful that although this seems pinned, knight d5 is actually playable because it hits your queen. So a sensible move here would be to step out of the tempo moves by putting the queen here. It also would defend the pawn, and it would also facilitate your g4 next. Well, you play g4 anyway. Yeah, you really need to look out for...
Right.
I mean, even queen e6 is a threat now.
Because
Wow.
of the check. Wait.
Because of the... Oh, no, it's not. Sorry, I'm smoking because the queen can take it. But very close. Knight f5 is a threat. And you are losing the game next if you allow that, by the way. Yeah, in fact, it's very difficult to not to allow knight f5 next. And unfortunately, you sucked it in. Yeah. So here, knight f5 was already deadly.
Right.
But even if you step out of the check, knight f5 could be... Well, knight f5 walk into a new pin. Maybe somewhere. And if knight f5, now black has actually a very cool saving move here.
Oh, you captured the rook on e2 and...
Exactly,
Oh, no,
and then you eat the other rook, and then you eat everybody.
Yep.
And the glory is yours.
I think
So
at
probably
the end
only
I
move
missed
here.
a tactic like that.
Yeah, now we can resign after knight f5. But after knight f5, we are winning now. It takes, and then when they take the queen, you take it mate.
Exactly.
See?
And I missed
like
it.
that was yeah, man. Like you got a free game and a beautiful one handed to you. Like rook e2 and white resigns.
Right, but I moved the lady first.
These are instincts, buddy, that most chess players on this level live by every single time. That if they have got something attacked, they move it, which is the absolute antithesis of what tactics in chess is all about. It's exactly the opposite of that. When you do, when the impossible becomes possible, that, oh, my queen is hanging, so fuck it, I'm not moving it. And consequently, good players have the exact opposite habits of low-rated club players. The low-rated club players, if shit is hanging, they instantly and instinctively move it. Good players, when shit is hanging, they go like, what can I do that is not moving and defending it? Because I'm not interested in either of those. I want to attack, I want to go forward, I want to counter punch. Those are the trademarks of aggressively thinking good players, that when shit is hanging, their default is not to move it, but to outsmart it. Club players, when shit is hanging, they move it. When something is captured, they automatically recapture. These are the automatisms of not bad blood, improving players. And the step up is when you get out of those habits.
Yeah. So I thought I was, I had queen h2.
Oh, you tried to be cute, and that didn't
I tried to be
work.
Yeah, but then it didn't work because of reasons. Those reasons.
Look, Panky, when you go Apple like yourself, you don't need to get cute, okay? So forget about that.
Well,
the go Apple is already there, so no need for adding extra cute. All right, brother, we're going to finish today's sesh with a bit of tactical Carnage City. How
All
does that
right.
sound?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay. First position, easy as. I expect you to solve it before it loads.
Of course. Yeah, I'll solve it.
Like to move, be a rock star.
Don't
I'm
do
only
it.
interested in full lines. Don't call out single moves.
Of course. Ba- ba- bow. However, well, I like how the lady and the bishop are aligned. Doing, but I don't think there's a way. Maybe there's a way to break it.
You want to break the lady? What kind of a gentleman are you, man?
Well, or to break the defense of the king. I There's some kind of holes. I think wheel hooves. Da-da-dum. Okay, focus. Hmm. I mean, you might think capturing on f5 and with the rook, and then, but that would be if g takes f, and then queen takes
No, I
f5.
very much like your thinking about not reckoning anymore with best case scenarios. So when you are thinking about rook f5, you want to check two things, and they are of equal importance. What
Right.
happens if they take? Let's get that out of the way.
Oh yeah, I absolutely see why it's wrong. If they take, uh, and you capture back with the lady, there's rook d1 check, and you die.
Hmm.
So that's why it doesn't work. So
But hold on a tickery, no, brother, because the idea was to play here with a mate here or mate here. So after rook f5, gf5, do I have to take this? Or do I have something smart to play, in fact?
I mean, um, mhm. You could well, you got rid of the G pawn, but
Right, so we could maybe go after this guy here, no?
um, of course, but uh, but there's no rook G5 or
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Brother, you want to have your queen on here because that's mate. So let's calculate. Take, take. How do I get my queen to h5?
all
That's
right,
how we
right,
attack it.
right. I mean, yeah, of course, you could queen e2, and
Can they stop queen h5 then?
then they cannot stop queen h5. Damn.
Right. So now we go back to my plan B or question B. So after take, we now have it covered. What if they take? But what if they don't? And the what if they don't is best investigated if you just imagine that you were given another move with white. So what would you do if after rook f5 you had another move?
Then rook takes h5.
Bingo, baby. But even then we are not done because yes, if they take, we have mate. But
Right.
what if after rook h5 they play king g7?
Um. You could rook h7 has to take, and then no, that's actually no. These two would be gone. No, dying. No, no wait, dying.
Is this background noise coming from you, mate, or am I tripping?
This is what?
I can hear some background noise.
Oh yeah, that's probably on my end. Yes, you're listening through my headset microphone, so that's why you hear the background noise. But the chat cannot.
I'm like, what the fuck is going on? It's like I thought that my electric desk was like, it sounded like there were some wheels and cogs were in motion.
Oh, then I don't know what noise that. What is that noise?
Okay, give me a second.
All right. Yeah, there's definitely not wheels and cogs and wheels in motion in this house. I would know. Noise drives me nuts too. Noise is the most distracting thing there could be.
Okay, I have no idea what the fridge. Right. So the rook f5, rook h5, king g7 was followed by what?
Was followed by um well no, if the pawn is still on g6, then there's no point sacrificing the rook. So what else can you
That
do?
that sounds to me, Panky, like telling stories. I want a line. Did you want to play after rook h5, king g7? Sorry, rook f5, rook h5, king here. Did you want to take here?
I wanted to go um oh yeah, of course. Rook takes h6,
G.
then g6, yes. Then f takes, I reckon. But then you have the check with queen g6.
That's a mate, not a check, yeah? So after rook
Checkmate.
f5, if they play a nondescript move, check, here, take, mate.
Right.
Okay. This is the type of shit that I want you to calculate like an absolute champion, my friend.
Okay.
All right. Why to move?
Way to move.
We have got a forced mate here in about 4, 5, 6 moves. But the first three are just the easy, the difficult ones. The rest is just black delaying the inevitable.
Of course. I mean, the first thing that I thinking of is that if you don't do anything, that's a check. There's rook g8, and you lose the lady.
Yeah, but we always start to look for checks anyway when we see a king here. I mean, not necessarily though, because there is a very appealing first move attempt here.
I was.
Which I'm not even sure why it's wrong. I need to think.
How about?
Okay, so yeah, go on. You would
No,
move
I
this,
was. Yeah, there's that, of course. But then.
and then this is mate, yeah. So, so I was thinking that the only way to stop this is queen g5.
Dying. Yeah, that's why it doesn't work.
But that allows us to win like this.
Oh yeah, of course. Then doing can you win
So
the
this is
lady?
actually a shitty example, but the point of the puzzle was, but I will tell you this because it's not a good puzzle, as I just figured out, is that if you start with take, then after queen takes, you can go king g2 and mate next.
Right. Then there's
But
many
since your
possibilities.
solution was somewhat correct, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah, seems there's many an answer for this one then.
Yes. Now this one, on the other hand, which is quite famous, hopefully will only feature one solution. Let's give it a go. Roll to this one.
Mm-hmm. No, and this one you sack the lady, no? Isn't that it?
I need full lines, brother.
Queen h8 and laugh. Then rook h4.
That laugh is not a line. King takes. Rook h4, king g8. I'm laughing because you sack the queen and there is no mate. And as much as I
Gosh
don't want to
dang it,
laugh at
you're
your
right, you're right, you're right.
misfortune, this
Wait,
was a good reminder for you, brother. I want full lines.
Right. Then the other option would be, but then you would. Oh no, wait. I mean, I like the position the king is. That whatever they move, um, something horrible will might happen. If you play Rook F8 by chance, and then uh,
Do you mean right now?
Rook F8, yeah, right
Or
now,
did you? Okay, yeah, I take it. Thank you very much.
then Rook F4.
And then I go here.
Oh
Thank you very
gosh,
much
dang
again.
it!
Oh, are we counting again on best case scenarios, friend?
Seems so. Seems so.
It seems so, doesn't it?
Yeah. So
Now, your intuition was correct about Queen H8, but your method of solving slash calculating wasn't. So can we please calculate this all the way?
yeah, of course. So right after they captured, you cannot play Rook H4.
You
You have
can, but
to,
it doesn't work. So let's look elsewhere.
of course, then Rook F8, and then you would
You're
force
going.
him to go to H7, and then and only then you can play Rook H4.
And that's a mate, my friend.
Gotcha.
That's a
Gotcha.
Matutski. That
Matutski.
is the Matutski.
Right.
And we like Matutskis, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is a
For sure.
very famous one. Some of the guys who are here from my usual crew, they will recognize this instantaneously. And I think, Panky, we are going to finish our glorious coaching session on this calculating exercise. I'm going to do something that you're not going to like, or maybe you will. I want you to tell me the last move of this puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
Not the
Mm-hmm.
first, not the middle, just the last.
Yeah, that's a good. That's a good twist. Well, let me
Yeah.
think of the first couple of moves then. Boing boinks. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How about my like these would be nice. Knight C7 would be nice, but I don't think it would work unless. Um,
Unless it does.
well, yeah, but King has escape route and doings, and then I don't see the follow up unless. How about? Well, I would like to. Oh, unless it does. Okay, let's see if it does. Doing, doing. Yep. Doing. Okay, let's see. Knight c7, right? King has to go to a7, and then, and only then, doing. No, it doesn't work. Like sacking the lady on a6, it wouldn't work because um b takes, and there's no way to put the rook here because the donk is still on c7. So how about?
Why don't you just continue that line, brother, and move that donkey? Because everything you calculated there were checks and captures, which is a giveaway sign that you're doing something right.
All right.
When a line doesn't work, Panky, in your case, as well as everyone else around your level, 90% of the time it's not because the line doesn't work, but it's because you stop calculating too soon.
All right. Yeah, that's not the first time someone tells me that.
Well, here you are,
Uh,
brother. Don't tell me I'm not being kind.
uh, 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 uh. But then where? Okay, then the donkey comes back to a6, and the king will have to go. Back to a8, and then if I go back to um, knight b5, I don't think there's no wait. There's many a move to prevent the rook from coming to a7.
So you calculated so far check, king up, check, check, retake. Where did we go with the donkey?
You have to go back to a6.
With the donkey? What do you mean
Don't-
back to a6? You have never been to a6 before.
Well, visiting a6 for
But
the first
but
time.
if you do go there, brother, I will take you. Thank you very much.
Oh yes, because the king is there. So, oh, of course, you then go to to b5, knight to b5, and
Right, you do realize, I hope, that knight b5 is a double check. Did you or did you not?
I did not.
Right, so here is a hint for you, brother. When you have got a discovered check opportunity, the first thing you calculate and look at is always the double check, because against that, there is extremely limited moves they can do, and it's always a king move. Now, you can't really look for double checks if you don't see them, but yes, knight b5 is a double check, which by default means that the only legal move is king a8.
Wait, they cannot go to b6.
No, because there's a black knight there, and the rules of chess deny that.
Right. All right, the knight hasn't moved. So yeah, so the last move is bishop b7. I mean rook b7.
A.
A7. Well, right there.
Yeah. If you played rook b7 in the last round of the coach champs tomorrow for a game for the win, I think I would not be the only one who would be rather upset.
Probably, yeah. Well,
let's just go A, shall we?
a7. That's it. Final answer.
Final answer locked in. Sounds good,
Correct.
Becky. Okay. Look, all I want for you, brother, is to have 7 of these tomorrow or tonight, rather, and we will be golden.
That'll be nice.
Ironically, incidentally, fittingly, I will be doing the commentary tonight with Levy, which means that Levy will be doing the commentary because it's going to be 2 a.m. for me, and I will be absolutely brain dead.
2 a.m. Wait, in 2 hours? In 12 hours?
Yes, it's more like 14 hours, but yes, that's when we start.
Holy. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, it's going to be a rough ride for me, but hopefully not so much a rough ride for you, brother, because you are going to ace it.
Yeah, definitely.
That's the plan, right?
It is the plan. Yeah, else I would not be here, really.
Exactly, Panky. Well, brother, thank you very much for being part of the biz and working with me like an absolute trooper. Take it easy. Go easy on yourself. Don't be nervous. Easy advice. Don't be nervous, and you are going to be absolutely golden, brother. Absolutely golden. And just remember, when Salma knocks on your door, open it. Open
What
it,
if it's
let her in.
not Salma Hayek? So
No. When Salma knocks on the door, we open it. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
Got it.
And we will be golden.
We'll be golden then. All right. Well, thank you very much for everything.
The pleasure is mine. Take it easy, brother. No sweat, no stress, no nerves, and you are gonna be a champ. Have a good one, brother. And babe, I wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you. Well, have a good one.
No worries. You too, mate. Cheerio.
All right, so that was Coach Andras, ladies and gentlemen.